Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Is anybody listening?
That is a great question.
And I will say we are recording this very soon after having dropped our last episode.
So do you want me to lie or do you want me to be real?
No, I want you to be real. And actually, I'm concerned that we actually lost a review.
Why?
Well, I just was looking at it, and it seems to me that at least on my app, there's one less review than there was before.
Oh, you mean when you looked like a few days ago?
Uh-huh.
But I thought you didn't really look, and you can delete reviews. I guess we shouldn't be putting that out there for people.
Yeah, I don't know.
These guys used to be cool. They changed. I'm taking my review down.
Honestly, I admire that type of like can-do attitude.
Oh, yeah, I don't see any new reviews. In fairness, we're recording this
The next day.
Yeah, that would have been kind of crazy because the episode just dropped.
Would have been great, but appreciate everyone who's left reviews and also appreciate everyone who has come and followed us on Instagram. I have to say, so Andy's making these video clips of moments from the show and like putting weird little animations to it. And I'm so delighted by them. And then people are responding to them, which is really fun. Now, are we going to get into it?
What are we going to get into?
And I would love to get off this subject completely forever and ever. However, the last clip you posted was the whole thing about me with the mess and the plumber.
Yeah.
And our Instagram, I should say, is Nobody's Listening Right.
Yeah.
Easy to find.
Easy to find.
So the comments, though, I mean, I was half kidding about being like, is this plumber inept?
Okay. You're still going with this thread.
But listen.
Yeah.
Take the I'm Elizabeth's husband and find this enjoyable off of the table.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are commenting here like, it is pretty crazy that a plumber would be calling out a mess 5 times that was just poop in a toilet.
But
and many people are saying, I would not trust a plumber who couldn't handle this.
Many? How many people are saying that?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, that's
4.
Honestly, that's 3 more than I would have expected. But
and people are saying, and it's actually making me question a couple things.
Oh God. Okay.
This is fair.
I'm sorry. I'm not being fair right now. Speak your piece, and then if I'm going to have to kind of come back at you with a possibility.
Okay.
I almost feel like I should put the possibility out there first,
okay,
so
yeah,
it's not the last thing the listeners hear.
Let's start with that.
Because you should be able to defend yourself.
Yes, fair.
All I'm saying is the headline here is, whatever mess was left in that downstairs toilet, which you were responsible for, which included feces. Not all feces messes are created the same. And this one, for whatever reason, he thought the workmen had done because it was quite a mess.
But what I'm going to say, is, I think I actually disagree with you in the sense of like, well, let me put myself in your, and I really do apologize to our listeners. We're going to move past this, I promise. But I feel like for my own self-esteem, I need to stand up for this. And also actually like, there's a valid thing. I don't mean to bring this up, but people working on the houses up there, it's hit or miss. We've had a bad experience before about bringing someone in and trusting them to do the work. I don't think that fecal matter in a toilet is like, there is such a wide range of what it can be.
You haven't been into a men's bathroom, like public bathroom.
Okay. Well, now listen, I would expect that a plumber has dealt with situations where it is overflown on the floor. And not only, I'm about to get really gross. So if anyone has squeamish stomach, turn away. There's shit, there's pee, there's period, there's vomit, there's everything that could be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to say when there is a poop in a toilet and it's been there for a few days with water, it's like all kind of the same situation. So I do question this plumber. What people are saying is when I listened to the thank you, Laura, for saying this. I definitely thought mess would imply the toilet overflowed or something. A poo just in the toilet is not a mess. Very strange use of the word, if that's all it was, particularly to a plumber. Now, I'm a mother, you're a dad. Mm-hmm. We've dealt with poop in all the ways that it can be dealt with. Like, when you are in that world of dealing with poop, you kind of like, your bar of things changes. Mm-hmm. And it does make me question this plumber, and I have a few follow-up questions for you. Is he the only plumber in that area, like truly?
He is kind of the head honcho in town, if you will.
Is he a plumber?
Yes.
He is.
Yeah, first and foremost. He does also wear some other hats outside of that. But first and foremost, that is the background.
He's licensed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think we should move on. But just getting to what Laura said, to me, in my heart of hearts and my bones, I feel like it just wasn't a poop. It was a mess.
No, Andy, what could it have been? It was like, this is where we differ. I'm coming at it knowing what I'm dropping, and you're questioning if I have some sort of I don't know what you think. I will tell you, I just pooped.
Was it loose?
I don't remember. It was not notable.
Okay. Then what a mystery we have on our hands then.
No, but I'm actually now concerned
that we got the wrong guy for the job.
That we have a guy who's about to tear up bathrooms. Mm-hmm. And not only this mess situation, but he went and we paid him to go and investigate it. And that was when he first talked about the mess. Here are a couple things I want to say. Mm-hmm. He found nothing. You explained very clearly what was happening. I don't know why he now has information about what it could be that wasn't there last time. He came and sussed it out and was like, I don't know, there's nothing wrong. And then we went back again, and sure enough, the same exact thing happened. Same thing. Mm-hmm. And now he's like, well, now I need to go in and take apart all of the bathrooms. He very well could come back and be like, this is a $30,000 job.
Then we'd need to get a second opinion for sure.
Okay. Good. Then the mess thing. I don't know about this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we
So
can.
You're hearing this.
I am hearing this. And
Stay away from, because I know that you get some weird sort of joy out of my embarrassment over this.
Do you feel embarrassed about it?
Well,
because I think you're actually handling it pretty well, and I wasn't actually really ever worried about you feeling real embarrassment about it.
I know, but you delight in the idea that this plumber was like, there's this big mess.
I think it's funny.
Yes,
but listen,
yes.
It doesn't change how I think about you, and it doesn't change how our listeners think about you.
Oh my God.
We all still love you.
Do you know that
I don't see you any differently.
Do you know that I had a nightmare last night about you?
Uh-oh. What was it?
Now, this, I think, truly just speaks to how great you are.
Oh, wow.
I had a crazy deep sleep last night. I mean, I usually don't remember my dreams. I almost never have nightmares that I remember. It was one of those, I fell asleep very early. I slept a really long time and slept deeply.
Yeah.
But I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, good, that was just a nightmare. But I was kind of the nightmare in it. But it was so unlike you. And I think that's just, we're about to go on vacation. And I think this just speaks to my insecurities. But it was like you were a different person and you were telling me.
On vacation or in life?
No, we were getting ready to go on vacation.
Okay.
So it's like right now in our lives.
Okay.
You were telling me that I had gained weight. Which is, as we have established, the opposite of something you would say.
Yeah.
Not the opposite. You wouldn't comment on it either way, but you celebrate my form. But I became incredibly violent towards you.
Ooh, really?
Like incredibly violent. Like a real rage.
What did you do? Strangle? Dismember?
No,
Cut
nothing.
Something off?
No, I was just hitting you and stuff. But like really unlike me, but it was like I couldn't control it. But in my nightmare, it never crossed my mind that what I was doing was even remotely wrong.
Whoa. So I made a comment.
Oh, and you stuck by it too. I was like, what are you talking about? And it was like you were a different person. You were being very cruel to me. And I started like hitting you and stuff. You never hit me back or anything.
I mean, I feel like I could have in the dream. That might have been okay.
Well, yeah, but to your credit.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
But also you were hitting me back with your words.
Oh, during your assault on me?
Yes.
I used my words. You used your fists?
Yes. But isn't that crazy? I mean, I think it must be representing like society. I don't know what it was, but also I find it was just as upsetting realizing this morning that like it didn't occur to me in this dream that what I was doing to you is wrong, or like I was at all concerned with like the amount of just rage I had. I almost think it has nothing to do with you as a person. I almost feel like it's representing like my society or my insecurities or me against myself or something.
Yeah. I mean, it seems, knowing nothing about any of this stuff, but that seems like it could be a classic insecurity dream, sort of.
I think that's what it is. And I think that how mean I was about it is kind of indicative of, I'm going to cry. How mean we are to ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
Do you follow, or do you kind of feel like I've completely lost the plot?
No, I think that's no, not at all. That's very astute and sweet and a little heartbreaking. I'm with you.
Because you're like my safe person.
If I was to do that, that would be like
I would be like, we need to check you into.
That would be a nightmare of nightmares, probably for you, right? Like
I would, yes, and I also, but in real life, I would go, hey, like this is incredibly not like you, and I would put my own stuff aside and would be like, we need to go talk to someone. Like something is going on here.
I think that's true, but I also think it would. I think it would also be. No, it would also like really fuck with you in the nightmare sense. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
You would be like, what the fuck?
Then
if he's saying that.
Yes, then I must be a grotesque whatever. But then again, this is my ingrained thing. It makes me sad that a nightmare of mine is someone saying you gained weight.
That is in itself is sad.
Yes, because that is fine.
Right.
You know, I know that objectively, and I also I admire and find a lot of larger bodied people so beautiful, and it's like, why can I not adopt that for me? And I haven't gained weight. This is the other thing. In my dream, I was like, I really don't think I have, though. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But it shouldn't matter. Anyway.
Wow, that's intense.
What'd you dream about last night?
Well, I'll tell you. You know, I think you're the fittest of the fit. I love everything about you.
Oh, you're very sweet. And I mean, I'm saying that as a very like, that's the thing you say. But you, sometimes it like things like this happen, this dream or whatever. And I'm reminded of how fragile the human spirit is. In mine in particular, I don't think it's more so than anyone else, but I do think about, like, I'm reading this book right now, Homegoing. I'm reading some doozies of books. I just finished The Frequent Troubles of Our Days, which is all about Nazi Germany and, like, the absolute horrors of how that evolved. Now I'm reading this book that's about two half-sisters who, and like generations that come from them. And this book is incredible. But it's all about the like beginnings of the slave trade and atrocities against humans, again, in different ways. But what the people in the slave trade endured, and I mean, it speaks more to like the incredible resilience of the human spirit. But I'm also like, if that were me, I would crumble. Like, having support and kindness surrounding you is something I take for granted. But the minute, I mean, there are people whose parents are telling them all the time, you're dumb and you're stupid and you're ugly and you're worthless. Like, I don't know how those people continue to exist. It's like,
well, it can really fuck people up.
I mean, even just being, you know, I've gone through periods in my life being incredibly lonely. And I feel like, you know, I can think about a specific year of time where I truly felt like I had no one. I kind of did have no one. And it was during that year in time that I went and traveled, which was really cool. And I'm glad I did it. But I also like, there were 2 weeks where I hadn't spoken English to anyone. And I actually felt like I lost who I was. Like, it just takes so little for me to completely unravel that. The point being, I really appreciate, this is a long way of saying, I am so, so grateful to you for the kind of unwavering support you give me in all facets of my life.
Oh, that's so sweet. I would say the exact same to you. That's amazing.
So what were you going to say about were you going to talk about your dreams or something?
Oh, I had my going to sleep situation was a little bit different, but I did want to talk about it. I recorded an episode of T-Bash last night, which was so fun. I'm excited for everybody to hear it. Go check it out with Trevor Jones. We got into some whiskey.
I love Trevor.
And anyway, so I was pretty tipsy by the end of the night. You were already asleep dreaming of me fat shaming you. And I crawled into bed around midnight. But before I did that, our episode dropped yesterday of this show.
Yes.
And we were talking about my concerns I've been having about memory, dyslexia, ADHD. And already we've had a few really sweet messages and like really interesting messages come in.
Yes.
One of them, if you could pull up your phone, Elizabeth, I want to shout out a link that someone shared to us.
Yes.
Which is relevant.
Totally. This was so great.
It's the one with the cartoons. So
also, thank you to the psychologist who reached out.
Yeah, unreal.
Okay, yes. The Danny Donovan is DANI Donovan, DONOVAN.
Yeah.
Does comics that are like illustrations of ADHD or ADD. I have to say, Andy, looking through these.
Did you go through the whole thing? Or not really? So I went down the wormhole on this website.
Wow.
What is the website?
It's ADHDDD.com
Yeah.
/comics.
Anyways.
And so many of these I felt like applied to you.
Yeah. There was a lot that resonated. So it was kind of, I was drunk and going down this wormhole.
Last night?
Yeah, I was pretty tipsy. And so I'm laying in bed next to you, going through these and being like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then I get to one, and it's this like email like a badass thing.
I saw that.
And oh my God, I mean, if you could count the amount of times I ask you for help on emails, you would be a gazillionaire.
It is, that kind of blew my mind, that one especially, because, and there's another thing too, and obviously any of this you want to edit out.
Sure.
This is sensitive, but you often ask me even just to compose a text, and it's a text that I'm like, I know you can compose and you've done it, but it is kind of just, there's a barrier.
There's a barrier. Exactly. Yeah.
And that was the first time I've never heard that being part of this, or I've ever seen it connected
Someone
to that.
just articulate it like that, right? And I don't even know what the context of that particular illustration in all this is. But anyways, it really resonated. And another thing, when I was going down the wormhole of people that have some of these characteristics, is impulse buying. And let me tell you what, when I got to the end of these comics, there was a mug for sale with that email thing on it, and I purchased that faster than you can imagine in my tipsy state last night. I was like, there's a mug with all these instructions on it that I can just have on my desk? Yes, please. And so, yeah, that's the funny thing. I ordered that last night.
That mug, it's the email like a boss mug. That is so funny. There was a lot of things here too connected to ADD and ADHD, which I found interesting. Well, we were talking about you with the House in the Night book.
Yeah.
And there's one very clearly illustrating like non-ADHD storytelling, start of story, and then there's an arrow, end of story. And then it's ADHD storytelling, and there are all these different paths, and like you're not necessarily like going on the same linear journey. And another thing that I found interesting in these comics is I consider you to be a very self-assured, self-confident person. Mm-hmm. And it's something I've thought about you since we met when we were 12 years old.
Yeah.
It was something that drew me to you, and I think it's a big part of why I had my big crush on you. Also, you were very adorable, and but you always kind of marched to the beat of your own drum. Like in our school, you had your own style. Everyone respected you. Like everyone liked you. You were a kid that I feel like if you hadn't had that confidence could have been bullied or ostracized for being kind of different.
Yeah.
But because you had that confidence, like everyone, I mean, it's like when I went back to my reunion, everyone's asking me about you as though like, I mean, people were like, did you guys pick straws for who would come? I'm like, Andy, who was here for 2 years, like in 6th and 7th grade or whatever.
I made an impression.
You made an impression. Everyone thinks highly of you. But there are certain things you get that really hurt your spirit.
Yes, I saw some of that in those comics. Yep.
People not responding to your emails in a timely fashion or at all, like things that all of us deal with. And also, we've talked about this before, you sometimes forget to respond to emails.
Oh.
Probably because of maybe the ADHD. But when people don't respond to you, it hurts your feelings in a way that that is illustrated in these comics, which it's something to do with self-esteem, which I found really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's all super interesting. I'm definitely going to go talk to a psychologist and get evaluated for all this stuff. I'm very curious, and I will definitely keep everybody posted if there's any developments at all. But a lot of it really resonated.
What if you, I mean, honestly, like we have relatives who have ADD and went on medication younger, but it completely shifted their life experience. Like, and first of all, let me just say, you're like perfect. I mean,
Thank you.
Even we've talked about the way you operate and the way you operate in your work and your career, and it all has worked for you. But I wonder if it could continue working for you in a way that feels like there's way less struggle.
No, I know. I totally know. I know. I'm kind of listen, we have no idea and we're not professionals. All we know
Anything. We're not
all we know is we have some very sweet listeners that sent some really cool resources, and a lot of that stuff resonates. So
Yes.
it is kind of like, oh wow, this maybe is what has been going on.
Yeah.
A lot of it. So but we're not going to completely jump to any conclusions.
I don't know. I'm kind of like
But-
looking at this, I'm like, oh.
But I've already do you want to hear what I'm really nervous about though?
Of course.
Is that if this is a thing, the idea of taking medicine really freaks me out. A lot of treatments for this kind of thing are stimulants. And that freaks me out just because, in my younger days, I experimented quite a bit with cocaine. And I know what that feels like. If I'm going to be completely honest, I snorted a lot of Ritalin in my days.
You did.
Yeah, in college.
I loved Ritalin. I only did it once.
I know what that feels like when I tried to quit smoking one time and they gave me Wellbutrin. All of those things make me feel really wired and crazy. So
Yeah.
the idea, but I'm like, I'm just jumping to crazy conclusions, but I'm just saying that that's like this fear of all this to me. So the whole thing is kind of scary to me. And
Yeah.
again, I don't want to jump to any conclusions. It is just kind of crazy. You're looking at me like, dude, like, I think both of us in this room kind of know.
Well, it's similar to, it's also knowing yourself and advocating for yourself. Like, this is a neurological. I think in this case, it's okay to kind of jump to conclusions, but I don't think you need to jump to concerns about treatment or whatever.
Yeah.
We have experience with neurodivergence in our lives, and know that we know the feeling of looking at something and going, oh, that's me, or that's this person, based on behaviors and do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is not, it's not like something where they're going to do a blood test and go, oh, yes, you have ADHD. Like, you kind of decide based on what you're seeing if that resonates for you. And what I'm seeing is that, at least in these comics, which I know is not a medical diagnosis, I will be very surprised if if it's just like, nope, you have none of this.
Right.
And the other thing that I wanted to say about the stimulants, I mean, I think try to do yourself a favor and really recognize that abusing stimulants, which you may have been doing in part because of feeling overwhelmed or like the way you operate in this world didn't quite fit.
I was doing it for fun.
Sure. But like fun, I mean, abusing stimulants for fun, lots of people can say it's for fun, and there are lots of other underlying reasons that you're escaping into it or whatever.
Well, yeah, if we're talking about just like drug use in general.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, but that's a very, 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 very different, like to compare, I know what it's like to be on cocaine versus like being under medical supervision and finding the right medication is going to be like, it could not be more different situations.
You make a wonderful point. I'm still scared. I still think about the Wellbutrin really messed me up for some reason. But there's all sorts of medicines we don't even know about. Everybody's different. I'm already like freaking out about it for no reason. No reason.
Yeah.
But I am, thank you to everyone that reached out. And I'm sure, because we're recording this the day after the thing just dropped, more people will. And I totally welcome that, because all this is like fascinating and it's very sweet of people passing along info. And we will keep you posted. I need to book a appointment with a psychologist and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of exciting.
I know it.
For me, I'm kind of excited about it.
Well, listen, it's kind of comical. There's a world where 3 months from now, you're out at lunch with a friend and you're like, and he fucking keeps his dresser so clean. It is unreal. There are not half empty LaCroix everywhere. Like, it is fucking crazy. Like you could be like waving the flag 3 months from now.
I know I could,
which is
but
hilarious.
it's not that I want you changed. It's just that I feel that certain things might be less of a struggle for you. It's not.
Yeah. No,
I'm
no.
not looking at it like now he'll finally. On this note, though, I do want to say, because we just talked about this. Number one, the blender, the beast, now lives in our home.
Found a nice spot.
It actually doesn't take that much space up, so I was very pleased, and actually I'm kind of excited about it.
Yep.
Number two, yesterday I was doing like this massive, I'm putting you on Front Street, but just to point out, doing this massive house clean, like or getting all of the kids like end of school year stuff, like organizing it, the artwork, all the little like this piece that goes to this thing. That's the bane of my existence. It's like our kids will clean up if we tell them to, but inevitably one piece is left out of like the box of the things, and so like one light bright bulb is left out, then I still have to go back in and open up the light bright packaging and put it into the bag, and it's still like the same amount of work as if I had just cleaned up all of it anyway.
I'd just fucking throw away that one light bright piece if I was you.
Well, that's great advice coming from someone who never does this. And I like yesterday, I was like, I'm finally doing this. Like, I'm going to do a sweep of the house, get everything. And you had stuff like there were jeans and socks up on the like media console dresser that I didn't know why were there.
Yeah.
There's, and then during this, while I'm in this, and I'm also like, this Amazon package or bag and thing that's on the coffee table, do you need it? And you're like, oh yeah, I think I do. You know, things like that where I'm like, well, why is it not where it needs to be? And again, I know that my level of need about this is somewhat irrational. And now, I mean, with what we were talking about just now, I have a new understanding of like, this just isn't how you operate. But while I was doing this, in the midst of this, you came in to put a package together to send out. It's by our front door. Like you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a return package, and you taped the thing on and whatever. But in doing that, you left the scissors out. You left the tape out in different places in our house. Like everything that you used, you just left there.
Yeah.
For me to clean up, and I just want you to know that that is happening.
Well, I'm trying my fucking best here, okay? I'm doing the best that I can.
I'm sorry. It's so unfair of me after this. This is the worst. Actually, I might want to edit that whole thing out.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm a monster.
No, you're not at all. Go on.
That's all.
Okay, do you want to move on? Because I have some questions for you.
Yes.
Okay. I thought this would be fun because I feel like we could maybe put a little survey out to the world. You did something recently that you do often that perplexes me, and I'm wondering if other people do it. It's kind of like the toilet paper on the roll. Are you doing it? Is it hanging over or under? By the way, are you an over or are you an under person?
Oh, it's over, and I feel like there's no question.
Okay. Let us
established. If you're doing it under, you just don't know yet.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So there's two things that you do. One I totally get, but the other perplexes me. I'm going to start with the perplexing one first. We have a toaster oven, right? A little toaster oven.
Yeah, we don't have a toaster.
We have a little toaster oven. When you toast a bagel, you open that bagel up, right? So you have the two halves. When you open the bagel up, where you've cut turns into two flat halves, right? I like to have those two halves facing down in the toaster oven because the rack where things sit in the toaster oven, one of the parts of the bread's going to be closer to the bottom and the heat source than the heat source that's on top, right? So my theory is when I put it in, I want that bread that is just being opened up that's softer. I want, if anything's going to get toasted a little bit more, I want that part. So I have it face down.
Yeah.
Okay. You have it faced up so the outer edge of the bagel is getting more toasted. And I have this feeling like you're the only person on the planet that does this.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't know. Do you want to defend yourself? Do you have a rationale for it?
I think it's really just about pleasure. And
How so?
well, I typically like things to be like gooey. You know, I like things like a little underbaked or something. I don't know. And a bagel, like a New York bagel shop, I won't even, if it's fresh bagels and they're like warm, I don't want it toasted.
Okay.
That's ideal.
Sure.
The inside, I like it to be like doughy and soft and the outside crunchy and toasted. So, ergo, I find it kind of way less pleasurable to have the top of the bagel, the inner, like kind of soft, chewy part, more toasted, and then you're just crunching through the whole bagel, and it just feels like a crunchy cracker.
You're making a pretty frustrating argument because it makes more sense than I ever thought it could. However, the outside is already harder, and I feel like my fear of doing it how you do it is you're just making that part extra hard, which I can't wrap my head around.
I just really typically lightly toast it anyway. I don't want it. I don't want it super toasted. But I respect. So listen. Let's get into the pleasure zone. I want. This is going to be my new motto.
Okay.
I want life to be about pleasurable experiences. You know, part of why that nightmare was so annoying last night is like, I really am trying to lean into like, eat what you want, like enjoy things, like enjoying food. It's thank God we can enjoy food. I feel like so many people with COVID have lost the ability to enjoy food. And you know, when you're sick and you can't taste things or whatever, it's like, I feel so fortunate that I can enjoy food. So I want to enjoy it the way I want to. And if the way you enjoy it is by toasting the shit out of that chewy, soft part, so good for you.
I didn't see this going this way. And what I'm going to hold on to, though, is that you're mostly alone. And I'd like people to let us know.
I'm as lonely as I was 2 years after my parents died, and I was traveling through Prague, unable to speak to anyone.
Okay, we'll find out. That's interesting. The other thing where we kind of miss each other at similar upside down or right side up situation is a dishwasher with forks. Tines up or tines down?
Oh.
It's an argument as old as time.
Tine.
Tine.
I think that now, bagel, pleasure, do what you will. Dishwasher forks. And I'm actually shocked. Actually, I feel like this is a new development for you that you're going tines up.
Well, we had a babysitter that was super pro tines up, and I was like, oh yeah, why aren't we tines up? It gets it so much cleaner.
Which babysitter was it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But it was a babysitter that I was like, oh, they're tines up people.
Well, I mean, I'm asking what I won't get into it.
Listen, we've had a few babysitters that do
I
not
don't
know how to load a
dishwasher. Like, this is true. But Tines Up is truly fucking crazy to me because I still think it gets the water is so heated and everything, and it's going through the holes in the cages. Like, I don't think Tines Up is getting it any cleaner.
Okay.
However, you're going to tell me, first of all, safety-wise, reaching down and grabbing forks with those sharp points with your hand is not as safe.
If I worked at the dishwasher company right now, I'm saying take the basket out, put it on the counter at a reasonable height, and unload it that way.
Yeah, but our forks, it goes all the way down to like just the top of the tines. There's no real spot. So this is my other thing.
Go for it.
You are touching the part of the fork that goes into the mouth when you put tines up with your hands, which I find absolutely repugnant.
Messy, if you will.
Messy. Now, you can say you wash your hands first, whatever. That's fine. I handle up for everything. And so that when it's going into the silverware drawer, no part of anything that is going into your mouth has been touched by our truly repulsive hands. Our kids watch a show, and I forget what I think it's called
Brainchild. Wait, let me just stop you there real quick.
And I just want to say real fast, let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Allie Ward, who I love so much, host of Ologies, the most incredible science podcast there ever was. She is on that show, and they talk about how, like, if you high five with your open hand, or shake hands, like, you might as well be licking each other's hands with all the germs. If you fist bump,
20 times cleaner.
20 times cleaner.
High five 5 times cleaner than a handshake.
Handshake is bad.
Fist bump 20 times. But here, sorry to interrupt, but this is what I was going to say. God damn it, you kind of have another great argument with this one too. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'll make a clip of both of these, and we'll do a poll of both of these because they're two separate animals, and I want to have the data on each separate. Mm-hmm. I did not expect you to have such compelling arguments. I do think people are still going to join my team, but I respect your team more than I ever thought I would.
Well, the bagel is really just personal preference.
And that's a really nice argument that you're making right now. And I actually think that you're going to have less support in that department, but you know what? It doesn't matter because it's personal preference. In the Time's Up, I'm interested to see what people. You might have some more heated debate there for us. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, can we talk about? And I'm excited. You'll post those on our Instagram.
Yeah, we'll get that. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about something major that's happening in our lives soon.
Okay.
We are, in a matter of days, going on our first family vacation ever. Like,
yeah, proper.
We've gone on like little weekend trips away, but it's usually like for Thanksgiving or going to a wedding.
Yep.
We went to a wedding. But our kids have not been on an airplane. Like, Otis has not been on an airplane since he was before he could walk.
That's right.
So this is a very, very big deal for us. We're going to Hawaii. We're going to the main islands.
I've never been to Hawaii, period. So excited.
You haven't. That's right. Mm-hmm. I've been to Maui a few times, and I loved Maui, and I was hoping we would go to Maui. But in looking at where we're going to stay, we found a place to stay that I feel like will really work for our family, in that it's not a behemoth resort. It's smaller, and it has a kids club, which were like the two requisites. Now, I do want to say this. There's a lot of stuff right now about Hawaii doesn't want you. Please don't come right now. Keep your bullshit COVID selves, away. And
to that we say, fuck you.
No. To that, what I will say is I looked into that. I took that into consideration for a hot second. We have friends who recently also went to the main island, and I'll just say it's Lisa Schwartz, who is a famous YouTuber and has a huge platform, and she also got a lot of messages about that, and she looked into it, and when she was there, she approached everything with respect and talked to the people there. And I know you could say, yeah, well, you're giving them your money, so of course they're not going to say to your face, no, we don't want you there. But I trust her, and she sincerely felt the feeling of they were welcomed. The people who they were staying with wanted them there, were happy to have them. Of course, we are like the most COVID conscious people I could think of. We've completely shut down the week before. Like, literally, we are not interacting with the outside world this whole week.
Well, because we don't want anything to stop us from going.
We don't want anything to stop us from going, but we are wearing masks anywhere we go. But truly, actually, at this point in time, we're set and don't need to even go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
So anyway, that is to say, we're not just like we're not bringing our COVID bullshit into Hawaii. We're going to be very respectful. We're great tippers. And so I just want to do that like little caveat. But I'm so excited about, I cannot be more excited about going somewhere.
I love that you thought that little rant you just had is something I would think about.
Yeah.
Like, be like worried about. That really had never crossed my mind. I feel like that was more like a year ago type thing. I feel like we're in a new era of travel in general.
Maybe.
Like, you don't even have to have a COVID test to get into the U.S. anymore.
Right. Things are different.
I think things are different. But anyways, I'm glad you shared that, though, because I feel like the tables were turned there for a minute.
And the place we're going, I mean, I'm like, I also start work the week that we get back. So this is like this magical week where the kids are off of school. It's kind of the first time in our lives that is aligned that we could take a vacation, and we are like splurging and staying at a nice spot. And I'm like we're going on a sunrise canoe thing, and like we're doing all the things, which I also could cry. It makes me feel very, it gives me a sense of pride that we can do this for our kids.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna
like
be so
building these
gonna,
memories for them and being able to do things, and I'm just really could not be more excited. So I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Because when I think about this trip, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get there. Like the first day we might be a little disoriented or whatever, but it'll be nice and we'll get our bearings. Then we're gonna the kids are gonna be in the kids club from 9 to 2. How do you see this going down? Let's fantasize and daydream about this together a little bit.
Sex.
Of course.
Sex. No, fantasize about during the days what's going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like are we having breakfast with or without the kids? With the kids, because the kids club starts at 9. Mm-hmm. Which you have to remember also is noon our time. Yeah. We're probably going to be waking up at 5 on the first couple days, until we adjust anyway. Okay, yeah. So breakfast with the kids, drop the kids off at the kids club. I feel like
the food looks really good too. I'm very excited.
The food looks good. I feel like we're going to have a few different kind of days. I think maybe one day you and me will go check out the beach, just very lazily, just have kind of a very lazy morning.
Yeah.
And then a lunch probably around 11:30 because we're hungry already because of the time change maybe, and then go take a little nap. Then maybe try to squeak in some sex before the kids get out of camp.
We get it.
So I think there's that version of the day. Then there's probably gonna be one where we're gonna have one probably more ambitious time, what's something that we want to...
Sex?
If you let me butt sex...
No.
If you
so
let
off
me
the
do
table.
Okay. No, one more ambitious day of all right, the kids are at camp. Is there something we want to do that might be too much for them that we should do? Mm-hmm. Let's maybe do that. Maybe that. And then the other options, we're going to get a massage one day.
Well, one thing...
We're going to do nothing. There's nothing.
One thing I would like to do without the kids... because, they're not the strongest swimmers yet. Mm-hmm. And maybe we could do it with them, if they have the proper, floating whatever equipment. But I really want to go snorkeling, just the two of us, because I think it's supposed to be magical.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I definitely want to do that. And I remember, snorkeling.
I'm not the best swimmer.
I know, but you could do this. Have you ever been snorkeling?
Yeah, a long, long time ago. I don't think I've done it since
Jamaica.
Yeah, since high school or earlier, that long. I bet the snorkels are cooler now than they were back then too.
It was just a metal pipe.
No, they were the black, snorkels.
I don't know.
I'll put a picture down below.
Okay. I remember. Okay. 2 snorkeling memories. One which was terrifying. Don't recommend snorkeling high.
No.
But I was in Maui and thought it was a great idea to get very high. I mean, I was 20 years old.
I get the idea of oh, how cool would it be if I'm high and I'm seeing
amazing fish and whatever. Well, one time I wasn't high, and it was like probably the day before this, and when we went snorkeling, I was visiting my friend who was like teaching on Maui, and we went snorkeling, and I was with this turtle for like 20 minutes. It was incredible. It was like a transcendent experience. The next day, I'm like, wouldn't it be even more amazing if I were high?
Makes sense.
So got high. We go out into the water. We're snorkeling around. I kind of lose sight of my friend who is not high, didn't partake. We're going out further and further, and just kind of completely lost in the wonder of it all.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, there's something up ahead that feels ominous. And I look up. Now, probably in reality, I was really much further away. But in my high mind, it felt like I was 10 feet away. I was looking up, like looking up straight towards the sky. And there was this wall in front of me going up all the way to the sky. And again, it was a cruise ship. And I think that it probably was just parked, and I was probably like 200 feet away from it. But in my mind, I was 10 feet away from a moving cruise ship.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, like, I may have shit my bathing suit. Like, I've never been so scared.
Well, that wouldn't surprise anybody.
And
the mess part.
Adrenaline, like fight or flight kicked in faster, that I hightailed it like I've never swum so hard.
Jeez.
But it was one of the scariest moments of my life, because I was like, I'm about to get sucked under this like behemoth.
Yeah.
Now, the reality of it, I'm sure, was an incredibly different story, but really scared the shit out of me.
If we do this, do you think there'll be other people too, or is it just going to be like me and you?
Well, like, I think we can just rent snorkel equipment.
Like right there?
But would you feel more comfortable if there were like a guide?
I guess it just depends how chill it is. I'm not
I think the place we're staying is very chill, but also, like, I'm not great at...
Like the people in the resort? I'm talking about the calmness of the water.
Oh.
What did you think I meant?
I did think you...
Oh, yeah, you guys want to go by yourself? Yeah, go for it. We're chill. Do it.
I did think that. Yeah.
No, I mean the area we're going to be snorkeling around.
I think it's pretty calm, but what are you worried about? Waves?
Drowning. What are you not worried about?
Wait, but here's my question for you.
Yeah.
I do find this interesting. I don't mean to bring this up in a way that's accusing. But your fear of swimming, I sometimes, like, I guess I don't understand it. I don't know about it in a way, because also when we go swimming with our kids, there have been multiple times where I'm like, I'm so paranoid about them drowning or having, like, even inhaling water or having bad experience. There have been multiple times where I've been like, you are watching that kid and they are clearly needing assistance or help or struggling. Mm-hmm. And you, like, don't react to it or respond until I'm like, you know, mm-hmm. whatever. Why is that?
That specifically?
Yeah. Like, if you have a fear of this for yourself and don't feel like you have, what's the word I'm looking for? You're, like, really skilled at swimming.
Uh-huh.
Why are you not more freaked out about our kids?
I think I'm just a little bit more chill.
Well, let me tell you, you need to be more freaked out about our kids with swimming. You really do.
Yeah.
And more on it and, like, zero risk. Second of all, I don't know, like, do you think if you were just swimming in the ocean, there's a chance, even if there are no waves or anything, there's a chance you could drown?
For sure, people drown like that.
But
there can be just even no tides or anything. People can't last forever out there.
Sure.
And,
okay.
And mishaps happen. Then there's undercurrents that get people all the time.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like people die all the time just being out in the water.
I hadn't thought about that. Like, I'm really scared of very big waves. Mm-hmm. And that makes me nervous. But I feel like in Hawaii, it's pretty chill. And the thing is, though, you'll have flippers. I don't know, though, like a long time ago, I learned like water safety, but I wouldn't know how to help you. I think I would hook my arms under your arms and I would flipper backwards on my back to get us to safety.
Okay, you're stressing me out. We'll assess the situation. If
Maybe
it looks
we should
chill,
ask someone to go with us and just pay someone to go with us and take us. We'll say it's like, we want to know the cool spots. Like, will you take us to the cool spots?
I don't want to have to go to these crazy spots, though. I don't want that kind of pressure on top. Let's just assess the situation. I'll go snorkeling with you if you want. I hope I'm coming back. I hope I'm coming back from it. You sound ridiculous being like, you think you could just drown being out in the ocean? Of course. What if are there sharks in Hawaii?
Listen to us.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
You don't think so?
No, I think there are probably, but listen to us. We're supposed to be daydreaming about the fun of our first, like, our oldest kid is 8 years old. We're finally taking a family vacation, which I also want to say, I said to my friend, like, is that crazy? It's our first. And they were like, no, because this is the first time. Our kids' ages are the perfect time to actually go do this.
Yeah.
Any earlier than this is just a trip. It's not a vacation.
Mm.
And we also have the kids club. So
yeah,
very excited. But this is so typical of us where I'm like, let's just think about all the fun we're going to have. And now you're drowning and I'm out there with you not knowing how to deal with it.
With some context for people that don't know, I'm not a big swimmer. I had a traumatic water event that Elizabeth doesn't think that was that traumatic when I was a young child.
No, I think it was very traumatic in a way that makes me not understand why you're not more terrified for our kids.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You were canoeing with your dad. The canoe flipped.
And got stuck.
You were stuck under the canoe, and your dad had to pull you down through the water out of the canoe.
Yeah.
And you were like 4 years old.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. Very traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
And I get why you didn't want to swim after that.
Anyways.
So that'll be fun.
The water is not the big
draw
of Hawaii for me. It's more going to be chilling, eating some good food, beautiful
day drinking.
sunsets, day drinking.
We should actually, honestly, start drinking today.
Why?
At night. To build up our tolerance. I don't want to just be like having a drink during the day and feeling sloshed.
Okay. I got pretty tipsy last night, but I'll have a little bit.
I haven't had a drink in like probably 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. You should have a few before we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep you posted.
Okay. What other... I am excited about having like hotel room morning sex. I'm very excited about all of our meal, like not having to clean, obviously. Yeah. All of our meals just being like, we're doing it. It is what it is.
Go to the pool, go to the beach.
Not catering to this kid for that, stressing out about what we're feeding them. Going to the beach. I'm excited to read. I'm reading Minnie Driver's memoir because I'm going to do Chelsea Devantez's podcast in a month, which I'm very excited about.
That
Celebrity Book Club.
Oh, that's fun.
Like, cannot wait. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And I really just want to nap and lounge and seek pleasure.
Fantastic. And have fun. When the kids aren't in the camp, I think it's like, what the fuck do you guys want to do? We're down. You know what I mean? Just
you
be
guys,
like super
let's
present.
Make some memories.
Yeah, what do you guys feel like doing? I think we'll be just making the good memories.
Can we talk about, are we time?
I have no idea, but I'm fine to go a little bit longer.
Okay. Speaking of making memories for them,
mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I was thinking about this the other day. Otis is 6.
Yeah.
Like almost half of his life has been a pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and obviously there are lots of people who their kids' entire lives have been a pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's just, abnormal. I do think though for the little ones who like the first part of their lives were normal and then things switched in a way is significant to them because like they knew how it was before, just barely, and now things are very different. And you and I have been in survival mode as everyone else has been. Mm-hmm. I mean, I talked last time about how we were both attempting to work full time and then the onus fell on you to also parent them. I also don't want it to go unnoticed. Like when I say we are 50-50 in our lives, I truly mean it. Like I think you pack their lunches every single day.
I do. How did I end up the lunch guy?
Oh, do you want to talk about this?
Maybe we can save it for another episode, but I have wondered.
Well,
I'm pretty good at it.
Well, you are very good at it. And also that was breaking me, I think even before the pandemic. We had a conversation about it and I was like, this will actually take me down. For some reason, packing lunches, I know I sound so annoying, it's like the thing that I like just literally cannot handle.
Interesting.
And I remember it clearly because it was as though an angel was saying it, said, let me handle that then.
See, I don't remember that at all. And recently I had the epiphany like, I make these fucking lunches every morning. Why am I making these lunches every morning?
I thought that we had an understanding. Maybe you just meant it for like a short period of time. But I was like, oh, thank God.
I mean, there's something about it that does fall into my wheelhouse of like putting stuff in the little containers and shit. But I don't know.
And I do think like now that I'm going back to work and it seems like I'll be going back to the office, mornings are going to become just kind of your thing.
I'm a little bracing myself for that.
Yes.
Because you've been crushing that stuff.
Well, I've been crushing that. I usually am the one to physically take them to school, and like that's going to probably shift a little bit. But anyway, long story short is that we have been in survival mode. We've been relying a lot on screens to the degree that like our youngest loves playing video games so much that he has said verbally, it's my heart and soul. His Nintendo is as important to him, and I'm quoting him, as his family. Yeah. So, and we try to temper that, but also we're trying not to restrict it so much that it becomes even more coveted.
He loves video games, might not be an LGBTQ ally, as we also found out this morning as he's deciding not to partake in the Pride Parade. Our daughter is taking part in the Pride Parade, but he might sit it out.
He just doesn't. He's like me. He likes to just be comfortable where he's at. He doesn't need to get up and walk around. He supports LGBTQ in his own way. He went to camp this morning with a flower beret in his hair. So I actually think that we're fine in that department.
Just no parades for him.
He did say he like caught me watching the video that we posted on the Instagram about the plumber situation.
Oh, yeah.
And he heard that I said shit.
Did he just ask what it was?
He said, isn't that a bad word? I was like, yeah, it is. So, don't say it outside of this house.
Best advice.
And so then later he just said, are you guys going to take shit out of that video? In such a matter-of-fact way that really tickled us. But anyway, this is the longest, oh my God. I'm trying to get to saying, I taught the kids how to knit a few days ago. Mm-hmm. And like ordered them kid knitting stuff. And I assumed that like almost everything else that we attempt like this, they would like try it for 2 seconds. It would seem too complicated or not fun enough or whatever, and they'd abandon it.
Okay.
But they actually really took to it.
Yeah.
And both of them. And so much so that yesterday they woke up at like 6:10. Both of them to go out and sit on the couch and knit. And normally when our kids wake up, if it's not a school day, they just like wake up and they put the TV on. But they both were just knitting for like an hour. And I woke up hearing the little click, click, clicks of their knitting needles and
So fucking annoying. Kidding.
hearing Teddy saying to Otis, like, oh, are you on row 3 or whatever it is? And going out and just seeing them both being into their knitting and being really excited about showing me. It warms my heart so much. And I was like, wow, okay, we have an 8 and a 6-year-old. This was my childhood. It was like being into things that had nothing to do with screens and being so into them. And to this day, this continues, like puzzles. If I'm doing a puzzle, I will stay up until 2 a.m. I will wake up at 6 because I'm like so into it. But it really, it warmed my heart, obviously, to see them. And also they're so close that it is, I feel like so lucky that they're such sweethearts and their personalities gel so well. But also it gave me so much relief. Like, oh, they're not like broken.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're going to have these things that they're into. And it also got me very excited about Hawaii. We're going to go and we're going to do things and activities and things that have nothing to do with screens. Not that there's anything wrong with screens. We're very liberal with them and they have saved us and gotten us through a really, really challenging time. And did we talk about this on the podcast that like, I feel like watching a TV show as a family is
better than
such a different,
just watching your iPads. Yeah.
Or
Totally.
watching like YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I'm very grateful for that moment, especially leading up to Hawaii, where I'm like, I want to make these core memories for them. Not putting too much pressure on it though. I don't want to like build up my expectations and then feel like
there's going to be plenty of whining, at least a couple bouts of crying for sure.
Yes, there are. I need to really thank you for saying that. I need to like really wrap my head around.
And there's going to be plenty of times for them playing Nintendo. If they want to play Nintendo too, we're going to be like, yeah, do you want to go to the beach? No. Okay, play your Nintendo.
Yes.
But it's going to be awesome.
The one thing I do draw the line at, which I think we've done a good job of, but we haven't really taken them out to eat in a couple of years anyway, is outside of like a sprinkling of times.
Yeah, a little. I feel like lately we have been.
And also, I just want to say, to each their own. If families do this, no judgment. I know people get a really bad rap for this, but it is important to me that there are never screens at the table. Like, we don't have screens at our dining table when we eat at home, and we also don't have screens when we're out at restaurants. And that's the one thing I've just clung to, the last shred of like whatever. But yeah, you're right. It's also vacation, and I want them to have fun. And if that means for Otis that he's playing Nintendo,
so be it.
So be it.
Yeah.
It's all about pleasure.
It is all about pleasure.
There was this TikTok I watched, and I'm going to pull it up. We'll leave our listeners on this note that really resonated for me and took me into this annoying place that I'm at right now where I'm like preaching pleasure. How do you go see TikToks that you've like flagged?
I think you're on Instagram for start.
Instagram, yeah.
Oh God, we sound so old. I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Is there a page that is there an icon for bookmarks of things you favorited?
Bookmarks. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, saved. There it is. Okay. It's this Abraham Hicks who's like kind of a guru about good things, like life, how to life. Listen to this audio.
So when people say, what are you doing? You say, things that please me. And they say, toward what end? And you say, pleasure. And they say, but really, what are you working on? And you say, having a good time. And they say, but what do you hope to accomplish? And you say, living happily ever after. And they say, but what do you want to leave as your legacy? And you say, I was a happy one. And they say, but what is the mark that you want to leave? Life is joyous. But what is the value that you see in contributing to this time-space reality? I'm joyful.
Kind of interesting.
That's very sweet. So like some Southern lady?
Oh, I don't think she's Southern. I think Abraham Hicks is, first of all, might be a man. I obviously
thought this
don't
was
know.
a waitress from Cracker Barrel.
I don't know. Oh, well, I also don't like this as I look more into it. Okay. It does seem like Abraham is a woman. Or is it just based on someone named Abraham? I don't know. I'm getting hung up on the gender, but it's the original source material for the current law of attraction wave. So it's kind of like the original...
The secret type stuff?
The Secret, yes. This is the foundation head of the information upon which the hit movie The Secret was based, which, of course, I totally bought into The Secret at the time. Like, I bought all of I had, like,
Yeah,
this...
the book.
I find The Secret, though, the same way I find, like, we've talked about Christianity lately, where it's, like, talking about God and be like, who knows what God's mysterious plan is, when it's, like, you get to say that... this happened recently. They were talking about the shooting at Uvalde, and like, God works in mysterious ways. Who's to say why all these children had to get murdered? And it's like, no, this has nothing to do with that. Like, we easily could have prevented this, you fucking assholes. And actually, you're the reasons that this has not been prevented. Sorry, but like, this Republican politician is saying this. And it's like, you are actually the reason. Your specific actions made this very possible, and in fact, you are profiting from it. So you don't get to say, I don't know why God wanted these kids to die.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be laughing. I feel like we're teetering on a big gun rant, and I feel like I want to get back to Abraham and wrap things up.
Okay. So you're right.
Sorry.
A reminder,
I don't mean to be laughing about any of this.
A reminder to call our senator. So anyway.
Yeah.
So... But it's this idea of, like, there's something about The Secret, and it's in a weird way the opposite. Like, you control everything. And so I think that it almost makes you feel like you're not doing it right if the good things aren't happening to you. Like, oh, I haven't secreted it enough. And I mean, it's to the degree, and I hate to speak ill of my goddess Oprah, but like, when she was introducing The Secret to the world, there were like examples of like, I needed a new roof. So I put a roof on my vision board, and like 3 days later, it was so crazy. Like, I got into a car accident with a roofer.
But that shit's awesome.
He offered,
Share that story, Oprah. I love that story.
I know. And it is awesome. And in a way, I'm also like, I also kind of believe in the law of attraction, the sense of like, what you put out, you get back. But I don't believe it in this.
Okay, you're all over the place here. Be joyful, I think.
I do love the be joyful part of this. But I has, The Secret, I feel like, can be kind of damaging.
Yeah.
It's similar to, let me explain myself, because I know you're looking at me like my wife is absolutely a lunatic. And I know I am. I'm on I think both things can exist together, but the idea of there's the one Mr. Right for you or whatever.
Oh, this is going to get hurtful.
Is very damaging for women in general, because they're taught to think like there's literally one person out there who's right for me. And so when they fall in love, they're like, this is him. And then when he becomes abusive, they're like, yeah, but he's the one. And so I have to put up with this, I guess, because if not him, then there's no one.
They don't think I'm with the wrong one?
I mean, some maybe eventually do, but this whole idea of the one, I mean, well, we've talked about like the twin flames cult.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole premise of
That's
twin
very
flames
true.
cult,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it is so damaging.
Yep.
Anyway, so...
But I like to think that you're the one for me.
You're the best one for me. But, like...
There's other fish in the sea that you would be just as happy with.
No, I don't...
Make just as great of kids with.
No.
Have just as good a time in Hawaii with.
No, none of that's true. But
It's very hurtful.
None of that's true. But what I'm saying is, had our paths not crossed again,
You'd be fine.
Do I think? No, I'm like so grateful. And I also think there was like divine intervention for us.
I know. That's why you have a lot of contradictory things happening here.
Stop it. What I'm saying is, I think I would have met someone else and married
And
them.
what? Fallen for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have too. Look at all your past girlfriends. You probably would have had a TV star.
That's very true.
It's probably not some washed up failed actor. It would have been a very successful actor who had billboards in Times Square, like your ex-girlfriend, who now has millions of Instagram followers.
Interesting.
Instead of just whatever the 7,500 I got.
Wow.
God, you would have been happier.
Maybe.
No.
Speaking of Instagram, though, thanks for everyone following the Nobody's Listening Right Instagram. That's been very exciting. We just
Very
popped it up
exciting.
and boom. All right.
And we have some exciting stuff to come. We've gotten a lot of great suggestions from you all, from somebody's for ways that we could do better. No, ways that we could be engaged. And so thank you for that. And we'll be back post Hawaii, and God help us, hopefully Andy will still be with them. Of course you will. I'm joking. That's a joke, obviously. Don't even say it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
You're my soulmate, Elizabeth.